Think of a wizard, and you probably picture glowing staffs, muttered incantations, and fireballs erupting across a battlefield. That flashy spectacle obscures the mechanics of how magic functions in our oldest stories. Over time, this supernatural force shifted from a terrifying, uncontrollable element of nature into a tool used to teach children the value of sharing. In literature, spells operate as narrative devices engineered to force characters through a process of change. The archetype of the enchanter serves as a catalyst. These characters use their power to alter physical bodies, forge empires, and shift human perspectives. Tracking the evolution of this enchanter reveals why we remain focused on stories of metamorphosis across 1,000 years of history. Long before the image of a wise old man in a pointy hat took hold, the wizard archetype had far darker origins. The character of Merlin takes root in Celtic legends as Myrddin Wilt. He was a bard driven to madness by the horrors of war, fleeing civilization to live as a wild man in the Caledonian forest. This early iteration of magic is primal. The oldest texts link the wizard's power to demonic parentage and the ability to shapeshift into animals. This raw use of transformational magic survived in later folklore, appearing in 17th century French fairy tales like The Wizard King. In that text, a monarch uses the magical arts to transform his own body into an eagle, crossing the sea to kidnap a foreign princess. In these foundational texts, magic represents the unpredictable physical realities of the natural world that early societies could neither control nor explain. By the 12th century, authors like the cleric Geoffrey of Monmouth pulled the enchanter out of the wilderness and placed him inside the royal court. Here, Merlin evolves into a political architect, using his foresight to manipulate the destiny of the British kingdom. He executes feats of worldly transformation, orchestrating the monumental construction of Stonehenge to serve as a burial ground for the crown. He then engineers the birth of King Arthur by casting a spell that alters Uther Pendragon's physical appearance, allowing the king to deceive his enemies. These specific political machinations lay the groundwork for the Arthurian legend, leading to the establishment of the Round Table and the knight's search for the Holy Grail. The enchanter of the Middle Ages represents human ambition. Magic has scaled up to become a systemic tool used to forge empires and control the fate of nations. In modern storytelling, the scale of magic shrinks. It moves away from geopolitical maneuvering and turns toward internal, moral transformations. Take the modern children's fable, The Magic Playhouse. The Grand Enchanter is reimagined as a humble clown working as a toy maker. He builds a castle with magical toys for a selfish princess, but with a condition: neglected items will vanish. As the playhouse begins to disappear, the magic forces the princess to share. By inviting the children of the kingdom to play, she restores the castle and her own perspective. Modern literature uses world-ending magic for personal growth. The goal of the wizard has shifted from crowning kings to altering the character of a single child. Over a millennium, the magic user has traveled from the untamed Celtic wilds to the polished courts of Camelot, and finally into the modern classroom. This archetype endures because it speaks to our interest in the concept of personal change. The wizard's influence is measured by the character development left in their wake. They act as the force pushing a hero from selfishness towards wisdom. This poem describes a book as a door to unseen lands of kings and dragons. It suggests that literature occupies the enchanter's empty chair. We no longer look to a historical Merlin to engineer our destinies, but literature itself performs that role. A story provides the same mechanism for transformation that the clown gave the princess, a door to a new way of seeing the world.